No, well, I think, first of all, we have to be very clear that Russia has helped the Syrian government win this war. It looks like, anyway. It's not quite over yet. But it is not winning the war in the Middle East because it's not involved elsewhere in the Middle East in any significant way. Not in Libya, not in Yemen, not in Iraq. So when it comes to U.S. influence, it remains predominant. And in Syria, it can play only a spoiler role, but that can still be significant and could prolong the instability that Syria, of course, already has had. Well, the most resilient have been the Syrian people themselves, whether they be under government control or in rebel-held areas or in the diaspora, having fled as refugees. And we'll have to see what role they play in the future. At the moment, most refugees cannot and will not go back to government-controlled areas because they find the situation too uncertain. The young man may be put into the army, people may be disappeared in the prison system, killed, people don't know. And so as long as that uncertainty prevails, they will not come back and they can therefore not contribute to reconstruction. And it's in a way a vicious circle. Without reconstruction, other people will also not come back because that's an additional element that would attract them. So for the moment, I think without significant international help, there will not be reconstruction. And the international help will not come if there is not a significant political transition in Syria. Well, I think there's a realization on the part of the EU and its member states that they need to step up to the plate, as the United States is in apparent retreat. And I don't want to overstate it because I think first we can wait out the Trump administration and see if anything changes, or maybe it is only make-believe, that in fact the United States remains engaged, but maybe not through boots on the ground. So, but I think the Europeans do recognize that they need to play a bigger role. And some attempts are made, but in the end, Europe is divided internally and not really able to formulate coherent foreign policy approaches. The only thing that the European Union is good at is to spend its money, but it doesn't come with the political clout that normally it should. So I'm certainly not going to make predictions about anything, including the JCPOA. I don't know if it will survive. But for sure, the Europeans at the moment are doing the right thing and trying to keep it alive by setting up the special condition mechanism and by otherwise trying to reassure Iran that, in fact, the European and the Russian and the Chinese commitment to the JCPOA remains. And I think from the Iranian side, this is appreciated, even though it's clearly seen as insufficient overall. But they also understand what restraints and possible sanctions the Europeans are under. And so they're willing to wait and see, at least to wait till the midterm elections in the United States and then Trump's fate two years from now. And then decide whether to stick to the deal or not.